The news shaking the land of the Golden Crown today is almost impossible to believe. The very women who once competed for the king's attention have now formed a shield of protection around Queen Naomi. Stop. Before you blink, ask yourself, can a house divided against itself suddenly become a fortress of love? The palace of the Golden King is vibrating with a secret vow that has left the world in shock. Welcome to Crown Gist. If you want to know how the war of the wives turned into the vow of the sisters, hit that subscribe button right now and join our Crown Gist friends and families. Don't miss the heartbeat of the palace. A quick prayer for you. May every dangerous road you are traveling in life be made smooth, and may those who once wished for your downfall be the ones to carry your bags on your day of glory. Amen. The atmosphere in the land of the Golden Crown has moved from a cold war to a hot reconciliation. My Crown Gist friends and families, pull your chairs close because this gist has weight. Report says the wives of the Golden King have gathered themselves together to make a sacred vow. They have decided that they will secure the return of Queen Naomi at all costs. This is not a small matter. They are not just saying it with their mouths, they are feeling it in their hearts. The wives began to look at the life of Queen Naomi and they saw a woman who was living a very risky life. Every time she comes to the palace, she has to rush back to her base for her ministry services. We are talking about a journey that takes over 2 hours on a very dangerous road. The wife sat down in a circle and said, "No, we cannot be here enjoying the comfort of the palace while our sister is risking her life on the highway every Sunday." They realized that the danger on that road is real, and if anything happens to her, the shame will be on the entire household. To solve this, they have vowed to push for the completion of the church project in the land of the Golden Crown. Their plan is for Queen Naomi to have a permanent resident pastor there so she won't be rushing back and forth like a stranger. They want her to stay in her villa in her rightful place without the fear of the road hanging over her head. This move has changed the entire dynamics of the palace. While nobody knows if she has finally decided to move back for good, the wives have made it clear that the door is not just open, they are the ones holding the door. But the most emotional part of this gist is the involvement of Reverend Esther. My Crown Gist friends and families, the Reverend is a woman of fire. She spoke to Queen Naomi and warned her. She said, when God is doing something great, you will see people who never liked you suddenly giving you advice to be careful. Be careful, yes, but do not let their fear stop your miracle. She reminded the jewel that the battle she just survived was one of the toughest in the history of the palace. If not for the Lord, the enemies would have swallowed her whole. There was a special sitting where all the wives were present. They invited the Reverend and she did not come to play. She looked at them, Olori Shadow, Dr. Elizabeth, TikTok Olori and the others, and she spoke about the power of character. She told them point blank that the reason the Golden King loves Queen Naomi so much is because of her heart and her character. She even mentioned Dr. Elizabeth, saying the king's love for her is also rooted in her character. She told the wives to stop looking for charms or pots to plant in the palace and instead they should plant a good character in their own lives. The Reverend reminded them that the Golden King is a protector. He protects his women with everything he has. If not for that protection, Olori Shadow would have been long gone after the wahala she caused. But because the king is a man of mercy, he only relegated her. The wives were moved to tears as they prayed together. They vowed to make themselves the envy of the whole race by showing that even in a polygamous home, there can be love and influence if the women stand together. The intensity of that meeting was enough to melt even the hardest heart in the land of the Golden Crown. My Crown Gist friends and families, when Reverend Esther stood in the middle of those royal women, she didn't look at their gold or their expensive lace. She looked straight into their souls. She asked them a question that made the room go cold. Where are the children of this palace, and why are they strangers to one another? This part of the gist is very deep. The Reverend pointed out that TikTok Olori has 2 beautiful children, and Olori Shadow has her own. There is a prince in the palace as well. But she looked them in the eye and asked why these children, who share the same blood of the Golden King, have never been seen together. She said, "You women are leaders, but you are teaching your children how to be enemies before they can even spell their names." She told them that it is a spiritual shame that even on birthdays, one wife will act like the other wife's child does not exist. She made a massive reference to Kabiyesi. "My crown gist friends and families, you know how the palace works. Kabiyesi is the one who has become the anchor for the little ones." The Reverend told them, "Look at how the children run to Kabiyesi's apartment. They don't ask who gave birth to them. They only know they have found love." She told the wives that trust is something you build, not something you buy. She challenged them to let the children play together, eat together, and grow together, because that is the only way the future of the land of the Golden Crown can be secure. The conversation then turned to a very sensitive topic, the forest ritual. For a long time, there has been talk about how the Golden Crown elders were trying to organize this secret event to balance the spiritual atmosphere of the palace. The wives, in a move that shocked even the palace guards, declared that they are no longer afraid of the tradition. They've told the Golden Crown elders, if it is the forest ritual that will bring peace, if it is the bringing of the sacred leaves that will welcome Queen Naomi back, then tell us what to do. They have decided that they are ready to participate in any rite that will make the atmosphere clean for the jewel's return. The most emotional part was when the wives looked at Olori Shadow. You know life has been very tough for her lady. The Golden King was so angry with her that he moved her things to the quarters where the palace staff and servants stay. For a woman who used to be at the top, this is a heavy cross to carry. But Olori Shadow is taking it in her stride. She's not complaining, she's not fighting. The Reverend told the others to support her. She said it is because Olori Shadow is humbled that people are now starting to believe she is truly repented. If the king had used his full lion power, she would have been banished forever and her child would have been taken away. But instead of jealousy, the other wives are now looking at her with pity and sisterly love. They told her, "Don't worry, your repentance is the bridge that will bring you back to the main villa." They are now united in one voice. They told the Golden King that they are ready to combine their education, their pretty faces, and their plenty bank accounts to protect the throne. They said any person, whether inside or outside, who tries to fight one of us will have to fight all of us. The Reverend told them that they must make themselves the envy of the entire race. She said people expect polygamy to be full of poison and jazz, but they should show the world that it can be a place of collective influence. They talked about their wealth, how they have so much money in their accounts, but they were using it to buy war instead of peace. Now they want to use that money to fund the No Herald ministry and make sure Queen Naomi never has to suffer on that dangerous road again. The wives even discussed Ogunzae and how the spiritual balance of the land depends on their unity. They are ready to stand as a wall of fire around the Golden King. They realize that the king protects them a lot, and the best way to thank him is to love the woman he loves. This 2,000-word deep dive into their secret vow show that the heart of the palace has finally started beating in the right direction. My crown gist friends and families, the tension in that meeting room was so thick you could cut it with a knife, but it wasn't the tension of anger, it was the tension of a massive spiritual shift. As the wives sat there, the weight of their past actions began to press down on them. They realized that for years, they had been the ones keeping the gates of the palace locked against the very peace they were all crying for. Reverend Esther didn't stop at just talking about the children. She went deeper into the matter of the heart. She looked at them and said, "You women have been fighting for a king who is already yours. Why are you acting like beggars when you are queens?" She told them that the Golden King is a man who values peace above everything else. She reminded them that whenever there is wahala in the palace, the king's heart bleeds and it affects the entire land of the Golden Crown. This was the moment that Dr. Elizabeth spoke up.
You know, she is a woman of great wisdom and education. She admitted that sometimes, even with all her degrees, the spirit of rivalry had tried to cloud her judgment. She looked at Oloye's shadow and said, "We have all played a part in this delay. We cannot blame the Golden Crown elders alone. If we had stood together from the beginning, no elder would have found a way to cause division." The conversation then moved to the dangerous road Queen Naomi travels. They started talking about the state of the road between the land of the Golden Crown and her base. They described the potholes, the risks of traveling late at night after a Sunday service, and the fear of what could happen to a lone woman on that highway. One of the wives broke down in tears, saying, "Is this how we want to treat the woman our king loves? If something happens to her on that road, how will we look the Golden King in the face?" It was right there and then that the vow of the sisters was sealed. They decided that the No Herald Ministry project must be treated as a royal emergency. They aren't just waiting for the king to release funds, they are ready to use their own personal influence to make sure that church is finished. They want a place where Queen Naomi can lead her service in the morning and walk back to the palace in the afternoon to have lunch with her family. They even talked about the spiritual side, the Ogunjaye factor, and the balance of the land. They realized that Queen Naomi's presence brings a certain light to the land of the Golden Crown. The Reverend told them that every time they tried to push the jewel away, they were actually pushing away the blessing of the palace. She told them that Queen Naomi is like a spiritual shield for the Golden King, and if they want the king to live long and prosper, they must protect that shield. The wives also discussed how they would handle the public. They know that people on social media are waiting for them to start fighting again. They know that some people are already typing, "Wait for it, they will soon clash." But the wives have resolved to prove everyone wrong. They have decided to join their mouths together to speak on a peace. They said, "Let the world see us together. Let them see us supporting the jewel. Let them see that the wives of the Golden King are now the keepers of the palace peace." Even Oloye's shadow, from her relegated position, promised to be the most loyal sister to the jewel. She said her time in the servants' quarters has taught her more about being a queen than her time on the high throne ever did. She has learned humility, and she is ready to use that humility to serve the household. My Crown G's friends and families, the intensity of this reconciliation is enough to change the history of the Yorubaries forever. They are rewriting the rules of polygamy. They are saying that it doesn't have to be a battleground of juju and wahala. It can be a place where women combine their brains, their beauty, and their bank accounts to build a legacy that the children will be proud of.
The atmosphere in the land of the Golden Crown finally reached a breaking point, but it was a breaking point of joy. My Crown Gist friends and families, the final piece of this puzzle is what has left everyone in the palace breathless. When the Golden King heard about the secret meeting and the vow his wives had made, they say he sat in silence for a very long time. For a man who is the lion of the land, seeing his home transformed from a battlefield into a sanctuary was the greatest gift he could ever receive. The wives didn't just stop at talking, they moved into action. They have begun to put everything in place for Queen Naomi's final and grand return. They have made it clear to the Golden Crown elders that the road risks must end. No more 2-hour dangerous trips. The N Herald Ministry project is no longer just a building. It is now the headquarters of Palace Peace. They are making sure that the jewel has everything she needs to stay within the land of the Golden Crown, where she is protected, honored, and loved. Even Oloye's shadow, who is still taking her lessons in humility in the lower quarters, has become the biggest cheerleader for this move. Her transformation has shocked everyone. Instead of the bitterness people expected, she is showing a spirit of gratitude. She is grateful that the Golden King gave her a second chance, and she is using that chance to build bridges instead of walls. The Reverend's words really worked a miracle in her life, and now the other wives are looking forward to the day she will be fully restored to her rightful place alongside them. But wait, my Crown G's friends and families, before we jubilate too much, we must remember the nature of the palace. The walls have ears, but sometimes those ears hear things that are still in the oven. Important notice.
Please, my crown cheese friends and families, you must understand that all these deep details, the secret vows, the crying in the meeting with Reverend Esther, the 100 million naira plans, and the specific relegating of Olori Shadow to the servants' quarters are all based on alleged reports and rumors making the rounds on social media. While we bring you this gist with all the intensity it deserves, this should be seen strictly as social media rumors and alleged information. We are all still waiting for the official word or a public appearance from the Golden King and Queen Naomi to confirm that this total reconciliation is now a 100% reality. Whether it is a rumor or a confirmed fact, one thing we know for sure is that the prayer of the faithful is working. The land of the golden crown is seeing a new light. The wives have shown that when women join their influence, their education, and their hearts, no wahala can stand against them. The jewel is coming home to a house that is finally ready to receive her, not with jars and charms, but with open arms and a 100 million naira promise.